Right now, I'm a state senator in Northern Virginia, and I'm running for the U.S. Congress here. And so we have a Democratic primary in June and a general election in November. And right now, things are going really well. The fact that is there's a lot of other people running, and that favors me because I am already a known person in our community from having been a state senator. My state senate seat overlaps completely with the congressional district, and we've worked hard over the past 4 years in the General Assembly to make sure we earn the trust of our community, and so the campaign's going well because a lot of people already know me, and they are excited that I'm running for Congress. So we've got a movement, we've got lots of people doing events, and a lot of momentum on the ground. Yeah, I'm running for Congress because I see the dysfunction and the extremism in Congress, and I want to be someone who can solve it and get real results and take on some of the toughest fights that we have. Right now, I see the effects of the dysfunction, extremism in my community because we have government contractors here who work with the government, and a lot of businesses who work with those government contractors, and our food shelters get overrun if there's a threat of a government shutdown, which extremists there have always been trying to do, and there's really no reason for that. I think we need new leadership that takes power out of the hands of kind of the extreme wings and into the hands of people who want to get things done, who are pragmatic, and who care about how this affects people and not about how many likes they get on social media. So I want to change the way we are doing things in Congress fundamentally. And the first thing that I would do is make sure that we have new rules to automatically fund the government every year so we don't have to worry about our budget being held hostage. And then I want to make sure we have a process of making sure our appointments are being confirmed, whether it's diplomats, whether it's members of the armed forces and leaders there, all across agencies, that we get people who are qualified and who the president has nominated confirmed. And then the third thing is, we need to start addressing real issues: gun violence prevention, education, and fully funding our schools, making sure that we have an economy that's built to last, not just for the next couple of years, but for the next 20 years, and that we can unlock the ingenuity of every person in our community and every business owner across the country. So there's so much we can do, but we have to start by addressing the fundamental problems with our Congress right now, which is hurting our democracy and hurting our country. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think one of the first things we need to do is have rules that favor people who want to get things done. So, automatically funding the government in our rules is one thing we can easily do. Another thing is just empowering different, factions, whether it's bipartisan factions who can, when there's a problem, they can come in and solve it and put more good bills that everyone supports on the floor for a vote. I think there's a lot of problems that we're not solving because it's being held up by completely irrelevant issues. Take right now, we're debating and horse trading, Ukraine funding, Israel funding, and immigration. And the three things do not have anything to do with each other except for their maybe foreign policy tangentially related. And so we're holding ourselves hostage in a way. And we should be addressing immigration in a comprehensive way, period, end of sentence. It's a problem, let's fix it. We should be addressing foreign policy holistically, looking at the whole map. But we shouldn't be making completely irrelevant and polarizing issues contingent on other, issues as well. So I think there's so much we can do, but the way we're doing things is flawed. No, there's extreme members within Congress who are taking the rest of Congress hostage, and I'll just say names: Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? Like that's an example. Like that faction of the Republican Party right now is the one that has been empowered because they were key in elevating this leader, and they have still, created fundamental problems in our Congress as a result. And I think the key solution is a Democratic majority. I'm a Democrat, so I'm biased, but I really think that's true. And then within that Democratic majority, we can still work across the aisle with Republicans to get things done. I've never lost faith in bipartisanship, because the bipartisan solutions are the ones that last a long time. When you do something in a partisan way, the other side is always trying to repeal it, get rid of it, undermine that work. And so if you have bipartisan buy-in, then long term that's the lasting work that really will help people. And we can also come back and fix things more easily when the work was bipartisan initially. Yeah, my family came from India in the late 70s. Dulles Airport was their Ellis Island, and they, came not with much, but education was a great equalizer for our family. It's what lifted us, and I think it's lifted a lot of other immigrant families as well. And I think there's now a new generation that's looking not just thriving economically, but also making its mark, in the socio-economic realm as well as the political realm. And to me, that's fantastic. So I love it when I see other, Indian Americans and really other people of color stepping up to run who ordinarily wouldn't be members of Congress. And people with names like Suhas Subramaniam getting elected to the state Senate. I was the first Indian American, South Asian, Hindu American ever elected at the General Assembly or a state or federal level in Virginia. So I like seeing that. I want to see more of that, because I think it's good for our country, and it's certainly good for our community. Yeah, I love seeing it. I think, again, the caricature of a South Indian especially is, going into like doctor, engineering, maybe lawyer, IT, things like that. And I like seeing people with different talents. I'm trained as a lawyer, but I've been in public service most of my life. But I love seeing like doctors and really people who wouldn't ordinarily run for office. I think that's exciting to me. And one of the first things that people told me when I ran was, you should change your name, because a name like that is a liability. And I said, no, I'm going to run as Suhas Subramaniam, and people can learn my name if they want. But the second thing they told me was, I don't know how the Hindu thing or the Indian thing would play up. Maybe try not to emphasize that. And I said, no, I'm gonna run as who I am. If people ask me what I am, I'm tell them I'm a Hindu, I'm an Indian. I'm proud to be those things. And so I think it's a great thing. The more that you see people in the Indian American community win, the more normal it'll be. So the next time, the person when I went from the House of Delegates to the state Senate in Virginia, the person who replaced me, his name's Kanan Srinivasan. And so he was the second Indian American, Hindu American elected in this area. And, it wasn't a big deal when he got elected. Now people are almost saying there's too many Indians. But I think it's the fact is that it's becoming normal. And that's a great thing for our community, and a great thing for our democracy generally. We're getting more diversity, a historic amount of diversity in our chambers and in Congress across the country. Okay, yeah, so one of the biggest challenges about running for Congress right now is I'm still the state senator, and so I want to make sure I do a good job there. And so I'm in Richmond at the state capitol Monday through Friday, full time, and then still have a day job, still a dad of 2 girls, 3 and 2. And so balancing all of that can be difficult, but in the end, it's worth it. I believe that, if I'm elected, I can make a huge impact, both for our country as well as for our community. And so that's what drives me to do the long hours and make all the calls, go to all the events. And ultimately, I think we're going to be successful with this campaign. So I'm excited for the future, and we're just going to power through all the challenges. I tell them that, get good advice and just run, and don't worry about, don't let your background, your culture, your heritage feel like it's at all a hindrance. I think the reason you're seeing so many more running is because they're seeing that that's the case, that we're as a country actually embracing Indian Americans in politics more, all the way from the vice president to U.S. presidential candidates down to the city council. We know that the Indian Americans can be successful in policy making, and so we want to continue that. And so I think the young people are seeing that blueprint, and they are stepping up themselves because they have a lot to offer. So I tell them that to go for it, and make sure that when you're elected, don't forget that it's all about the community, not about you. And do everything you can to do what's best for the community.